Shabbat shalom to the set apart family of the Most High Yah. We are welcoming you again to the Sword of the Spirit Biblical Teachings. I am going to bring my co-teacher in the faith. Shabbat shalom, sis.
Shabbat shalom. How are you?
I am doing wonderful today. I am just glad that Yah allowed me to see another Sabbath.
Yes,
And so
hallelujah.
I just give praise and honor to him, also to come before you with a lesson.
Yes, I am. It's always a treat for me to to listen and be on the other end. But yeah, this is beautiful Sabbath. A little cloudy, but
Yes.
again, as you stated, Yah's allowing us to see another day. So just grateful for that. And I'm still riding high on my testimony. So
I know, sis.
just yeah. I don't know if you got a chance to see
I sure
the
did.
update. Yeah. So I can't wait to continue to show you guys the progress with these buds that he has given me that were dry for 9 months that were dead. So
Yes,
he
that's
has
an
restored.
awesome testimony and just something just to witness like that Yah has visited you. I was just in awe of just that, especially just knowing that plant was dead 9 months with no water, no nothing.
Yes.
And Yah
Yes.
revived it. So
Yes.
hallelujah, praise be to
Hallelujah.
Yah.
Yes.
So I am going to get started, sis.
Okay.
Okay, so with that introduction, iron sharpens iron. It was placed on my heart to do this lesson. At first, I was a little hesitant because I didn't know what y'all wanted me to do, and as simple as this may seem, um, Yah is requiring His people to level up. He is requiring His chosen people to look um different from the people of the world. So it should be a distinction between Yah's people and those of the world. And what we are seeing for those that are coming into truth, we are still not um being separate from the world. We are treating our brothers and sisters in the faith how people in the world are treating each other, and Yah is requiring His people to level up. This lesson is dealing with not only with the heart, but with obedience. Yah love language is obedience, and His standard is holiness. And He is refining His people, He is cleaning them up, and He is expecting us, His chosen people, to walk in His ways and be obedient to His word. And so we are going to examine today iron sharpen iron and what it really means in its context text. And so without further ado, I'm going to get started. So we know that iron is an element of the earth, and Adam was made from the dust of the earth, and he has many other minerals that comes from the dust, and so do we. Iron is an essential mineral for the body, and we need it to live. Iron is important because we need it for growth and development. Also, our body uses iron to make hemoglobin, which is a protein in the red blood cells that carries oxygen from the lungs to all parts of the body, and the myoglobin, a protein that provides oxygen to the muscle. Also, iron is also needed to make some of the hormones. So I'm just going over a little of the facts of what iron is and its essential as far as the body, but we're going to also go over how it relates spiritually. And so this is coming from the National Institute of Health. Now, when your body is depleted of iron, and I want you to think about this because in the spiritual context, this will also happen. So iron, when you're deficient of iron, you are diagnosed with anemia, and those symptoms of anemia, and I want you to pay close attention to this, is fatigue. Fatigue is when you're just worn down, you're weak, you're tired, you have no energy, no stamina, no drive. Another symptom of iron deficiency or anemia is cold feet and hands, headaches and dizziness, heart palpitation, and strange cravings. So why am I just giving this introduction? Well, as with the body needing iron in order to live, we also need iron, or people to sharpen us, to keep us from being spiritually fatigued and worn down, those that build us up and strengthen us. Also, iron deficiency can cause depression. So when iron sharpens iron, it goes through a process. And with this process, you need fire, and you need another piece of iron. And so when you're sharpening it, you're refining, you're strengthening the edges of that iron that is worn down, that is dull, that is no longer working properly like it should. And so if you take a look at this picture, and if you notice the picture on the left, that is a dull knife. And with the dull knife, we know that it is hard to cut. And we can see that the juices from this tomato is just coming out. Is the precision of the cut is not going through. It's making it mushy. But then on the right, if you look at the sharp knife, it's just a straight cut. You don't need force to cut it. I don't know if you've cooked before, and a lot of us can relate to when we have a dull knife and you cutting an onion, or you cutting meat, or you cutting a tomato. It is hard to get through. But when you have a sharp knife, it is easy to cut and slice through, whether it's meat, whether it's a vegetable. And so if you relate a dull knife to that of a spiritual, in a spiritual realm, when you're dull, is your lack of sharpness or keenness. You are simple-minded, and at times you are ignorant. Whereas being sharp, you are keen, you are alert, you are wise, and you are discerning. So these are the qualities of either being dull or sharp. And so we're going to visit the premise scripture for today's lesson, and it's coming from Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron, and a man sharpens his friend's countenance. Another version reads, iron by iron is sharpened, and a man sharpens the face of his friend. Another version reads, iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens a friend's character. And so we're going to visit today how we are to sharpen one another in the faith, and how we are to not only sharpen, but how to uplift, how to strengthen our friend's character. And our characters are just our behavior and how we behave. And I found this profound quote, and it reads, "The countenance of the portrait of the soul." The countenance, is the portrait of the soul, and the eyes marks its intention. So again, the countenance is just your behavior, it's your demeanor, it's your attitude. The portrait is a painting or image of your soul, and the eyes mark its intention. So the intentions within you are your goals, are your plans, or your aim. So in essence, your behavior paints the picture of your soul, and through your eyes, it marks its intention, whether it's righteous or wicked. Matthew 6 22 verses, Matthew 6 verses 22 through 23 reads, "The eye of the lamp, the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light." I'm gonna read that again. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? So we know that Yeshua is the light. And John 8 and 12 says, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." So if you are following the commands and the word, which Yeshua is the word, then your eyes or your body is that light. It is that light that Yah want us to be to the world. But if you are not walking in the ways of the Most High, and you are not following His word, then you are in darkness, as it says in here. So what is a friend? What is a friend? We're going to visit this 1 Corinthians 15:33. "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." So what we see here, that Paul is saying that do not be deceived. So whoever you associate with, if they're in wickedness, they will ruin good morals. Job 6 and 14 read, "He who withhold kindness," and I want you to pay close attention to this, "he who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty." Again, he who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. So we see here that when you are unkind and when you are not walking in the ways of Yah, a friend should not withhold a kindness from you. And if he does, that is not, we see here, that is not a friend, because a friend will not withhold kindness. He will, because he fears Yah. But we see here that Job said those that withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty Yah. Proverbs 17 and 7 says, "A friend loves at all times." So they not a fair weather friend. "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." So adversity is when you have hardship, when you are in distress, when you are having troubling times. So this is what you should look for in a friend. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. So we're going to talk about, again, we are still talking about what is a friend. One who finds a faithful friend finds a treasure. One who finds a faithful friend finds a treasure. So we're going to look at the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible on the definition of what friend means. And this is coming from 1094. Friend, give, gift, love. And I want you to pay attention to those words. Give, gift, love. So the pictograph, hey, or behold, which means behold, revelation, look. It represents one who is looking at a great sight with his hands raised, as when saying, behold, or revelation, or something is to be revealed. The bet, which is the tent, or represent the tent or the house. When you combine the hay and the bet, these pictures mean look toward the house or provide for the family. And I want you to pay close attention to provide for the family. One does not choose the household which one is born into, including tribe, parents, children, and wife. As in marriage, and we know that in the Hebrew, marriages was often arranged by the father. It is a gift from Yah. These gifts are seen as a privilege and are to be cherished and protected, as in have as given. Okay. And if you look at this picture over this quote, it says, friends become our chosen family. And we see, according to the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible, friend is love. It's a gift. It's give. And it's a gift from Yah, and we are to not only cherish, but to protect our friend. Love. The expressions and actions toward the family, which one is privileged with. So it's your expressions and actions towards the family. We know that we are told in Corinthians that First John 3:18, let us not love in word and speech, but in an action and truth. So love is an action. It's not emotions, it's an action. Love, if we look down at love, lover, friend, beloved. So a friend is a gift from Yah that needs to be cherished and protected. It is also love, okay? And we are to express and show action toward the family which one was privileged with. So we have to show our love through our actions and our deeds. Thesaurus.com says that friend is a companion, a confidant, acquaintance, associate, familiar, intimate, well-wisher, soulmate, bosom buddy, partner, mate. So as we look at this quote, it says, only a true friend will tell you to your face what others are saying behind your back. And so we're getting ready to examine that. But before we do that, we're going to look in the context of what from qbible.com in the context of what Proverbs 27:17 is speaking of. So again, iron sharpens iron, and a man sharpens his friend's countenance. So according to the Strong Hebrews Concordance 1270, iron is an iron ore, furniture or material, utensils, tool of iron, harshness, oppression, and then I want you to look at strength. Strength. And if we go down, iron as in cutting. By an extension, an iron implement. Head, iron. Okay, so iron, when iron sharpen iron is to strengthen, sharpen. When something is sharpened, according to Strong Hebrews 2300, it is to be sharp, to be alert, be keen, to be sharp, as you see it again, to sharpen, be fierce, make, sharp, figuratively, severe. Okay, and if we look down at the bottom, it says keener, show yourself sharp. Friend, according to the Q Bible, which is Hebrews 74:53. Friend, companion, fellow, intimate, brother, neighbor, companion, husband, continence. According to Strong Hebrews 64:40, continence is the face or the present, before, presence, sight, consonant. And we know that the continence is also your behavior, your attitude. So I was led to read Sirach. And in Sirach, it gives a clear tool. It's a clear tool of how you should measure a friend, what a friend is, and how to actually select a friend in the faith. Because a lot of times a lot of us look at the outward appearance and we don't look at the heart. And a lot of times we are hurt because we are not lining up and measuring up with Yah's word. And Yah is requiring his people to start using his word as a tool of how to line up what standards and hold people to his standards. Yah has a standard, and his standard is holiness, and we are not to be unequally yoked. We are not supposed to be associating with the world. And so when we are making friends or having friends in our life. Sometimes we have to get rid of our friends because they have to line up. Your friends and it has to line up with the word of Yah. Your spouse has to line up with the word of Yah. And as we saw from the definition of friend, is a friend, a mate, a neighbor. And so we have to be careful of who we associate with. And so we're going to take a look at Sirach chapter 6, and we're going to read from Sirach to measure up what a friend and how to determine what a friend is and how to select a friend. And before I do that, it says, where there are friends, there is wealth. Okay. And so Sirach 6, verse 5, pleasant speech multiplies friends, and gracious lips, friendly greetings. So this is how you multiply friends, by a pleasant speech and gracious lips and friendly greetings. And a lot of our brothers and sisters in the faith are not doing this. Let those who are friendly to you be many, but one in 1,000 you're confident. So everyone that is friendly to you, that's being pleasant speech and have gracious lips and friendly greetings, you should not confide in. It says, but one in 1,000. So that means that you have to carefully select who you allow to share your intimate secrets, or not even secrets, but intimate things that you wouldn't want to share with someone out that is just passing by, or or a fair weather friend. You want to make sure that whoever you allow in your space, they measure up to what Yah word is saying. And so what does his word tell us? He says, test the spirit. So we are required to test the spirit at all times. Sirach 6 and 7 through 10 reads, when you gain friends, gain them through testing. Do not be quick to trust them. This is the fault of many. We trust too quickly. And it says, when you gain a friend, gain them through testing, and do not be quick to trust them. They have to prove that they are a friend. For there are friends when it suits them, but they will not be around in time of trouble. I'm gonna read that again. For there are friends when it suits them, but they will not be around in time of trouble. Again, when we read earlier, a friend is shows love all the time, and a brother is born, which is a friend, is born for adversity, in times of trouble, at times of distress, a time of hardship. Another is a friend who turns into an enemy and tells of the quarrels of your disgrace. So you have to be careful of what you say to friends. You have to be very careful of what you share, because everyone that appears to be your friend are not your friend. And as soon as they you get upset with you, they quick to tell your business. Others are friends, table companions, but they cannot be found in time of affliction. Others are friends, table companions. So they able to sit at the table with you and break bread with you. They're there when you're going through the good times, but as soon as affliction arrives, they're not around to be found. Fake friends are like shadows. They follow you in the sun, but leave you in the dark. According to Sirach 11-13, when things go well, they are your other self. So as long as things are going well, these so quote unquote friends are your other selves. They like a shadow. You see them and master it over your servants and master it over your servants. If disaster comes upon you, they turn against you and hide themselves. So as soon as a problem arises, financially or emotionally or physically, you can't take care of yourself. They are not to be found. Lose your job, not have income, become homeless. They won't be nowhere to be in sight. Stay away from your enemies and be on guard with your friends. So we are told to stay away from your enemies, but be on guard with your friends. You are constantly testing your friends. You have to still be alert with those that are in your inner circle. You still have to be on guard with your friends. Sirach 14-17. Faithful friends are a steady shelter. Whoever finds one finds a treasure. Faithful friends are a steady shelter. Whoever finds one finds a treasure. Faithful friends are beyond price. No amount can balance their worth. Faithful friends are life-saving medicine. Those who fear Yah will find them. Those who fear Yah will find them. So as this quote says, best friends make good times better and hard times easier. And this is why they are like a steady shelter. This is why they are beyond price. And at times a life-saving medicine. Because when you're going through, you need a friend to strengthen you, to uplift you, to encourage you, and sometimes to rebuke you. Those who fear Yah enjoy stable friendship, for as they are, so will their neighbors be. So recapping, I love this quote. Good friends are hard to find and harder to leave and impossible to forget. So recapping what we just went over, friendship is a gift from Yah. You gain friends through testing. Faithful friends are life-saving medicine. And faithful friends are a steady shelter. When you have friends in the faith, and I'm gonna share my story with Shatan. I watched her, and I, and I'm just gonna be honest, I did. I watched her because I've been hurt many times by who I thought were my friends. But I'm here to say she is truly a gift from Yah. And I am so grateful that Yah put her in my life. And we have to measure our friends by testing them. And when I'm in need, no matter if it was financial, no matter if it was spiritual, she has always been there for me. And it is so true that friends are a life-saving medicine. Because when I was going through a lot of my trials, she uplifted me, she encouraged me, she even rebuked me when I needed it. And that's the type of friend that Yah want us to be to one another. We have to be obedient to his word. And he is looking for his people to set a standard of holiness. We should not be like the world that's envious and jealous and coveting one another's gifts, or just what Yah has given to them. Yah want us to strengthen each other. We all have different gifts. We all have different talents. And if we are friends, we should not be envious of what our friends' gift is, because we all are from the same body of Yeshua, and we all have our different gifts. And Yah want us as his people to start living by his standards of holiness, and not looking like the world. We should not be like Cain, who was coveting and then ultimately murdered his brother. We should not. We are our brother's keepers, and we should treat them as a brother and a sister in the faith. And when you gain a good friendship from Yah, we are required, as it stated, we are required to protect and cherish our friends. That goes for our spouses too. When you are selecting a spouse or a friend, you have to measure them by what the word of Yah is telling us to do. And he says to gain a friend, in order, when you gaining a friend, you have to test them, and you have to remain on guard with your friend. That means alert. So we're going to look at a biblical example of a friendship that was, when I read the story of David, he wasn't a king yet, but the friendship of King David and Jonathan, it really mirrors how a friendship should be, and how we should treat our friends. And so we're going to look at this biblical example of friendship. And this is coming from 1 Samuel 18. And we're going to read verses 1 through 4. And so just to give you a little snippet, this is when King Saul was still the king. He was a king, and he was fighting against the Philistines. And we know that David, at the time, he slew the giant. Okay, he slew the giant. And so this is the part where he had slew the giant, and he is now speaking with King Saul. And so I'm just giving you snippets. You got to go back and read it. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but I just want to get the gist of what a true friendship, a biblical example of what a true friendship is. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knitted with the soul of David. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day and would not let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant, because he loved him as his own soul. The key word is Jonathan loved David as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. So he is showing David honor. Jonathan, at this point, David wasn't selected as the king, so King Saul was the king. And if King Saul wasn't rejected from being king, Jonathan would have been the runner-up for, or the next inheritance to be a king. So Samuel's 19, 1 through 6. We're going to continue on. Then Saul ordered his son Jonathan and all his servants to kill David. But Jonathan delighted greatly in David. So Saul was, just to rewind, fast forward, rewind. Saul was jealous of David, because David killed a lot of the Philistines, and the women were singing, and they were making a joke, or whatever you want to call it, of just bragging on David. But Saul knew that Yah was with David. Okay, and so we're gonna read how a friend will stand up and will fight for their friend, because Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And so he's going to stand up to his father, because his father ordered that his servants to kill David. But Jonathan, at all costs, he is going to stand up to his father. And this is what a friend does. A friend stands up for one another. And so he warned David, saying, "My father, Saul, intends to kill you. Be on your guard in the morning. Find a secret place and hide there. And I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where you are, so I can ask about you. And if I find out anything, I will tell you." Then Jonathan spoke well of David to his father, Saul, and said to him, "The king should not sin against his servant David." I'm going to read that again. "The king should not sin against his servant David. He has not sinned against you. In fact, his actions have been highly beneficial to you. He took his life in his hand when he struck down the Philistine, and Yah worked a great salvation for all of Israel. You saw it and rejoiced. So why would you sin against innocent blood by killing David for no reason?" Saul listened to the voice of Jonathan and swore an oath, "As surely as Yah lives, David will not be put to death." And so we see here that and in this quotes, it says, friends fight with you, they respect you, include you, encourage you, need you to serve you, and stand by you. And we saw that in just in this instant right here. Jonathan is defending David, and he's telling, why should you sin when you saw how he benefited you and how Yah worked a great salvation for all of Israel, and he rejoiced in it. And so he made an oath. He swore an oath that as Yah lives, that he would not put David to death. So friends stand up for one another at no matter what cost. David, and then fast forwarding, they're still at war with the Philistines, and Jonathan and Saul and his brothers and many other died at their hands, and David is lamenting over his best friend's death. And 2 Samuel 1 through 26 read, I grieve for you, Jonathan, my brother. You were delightful to me. Your love to me was extraordinary, surpassing the love of a woman. So he is expressing how much love that Jonathan had showed him, and he was delightful to David. And he said, your love, your actions, the way you cherish me, the way you protect me was extraordinary, and it surpassed that of a woman. Okay. And so David, King David, he's now king. He remains loyal to Jonathan even after his death. And Jonathan had a lame son, and he took his lame son in and set him at his table. And I'm going to read that, and that's in 2 Samuel 9 verses 5 through 7. So King David had brought so King David had him brought to the house of Mashir, son of Melam, and in Ladibar. Please forgive me for messing up the names. And when Mephibosheth of Jonathan, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David, he fell face down in reverence. And David said, Mephibosheth, I am your servant, he replied. Do not be afraid, said David, for surely I will show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land of your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table. And Mephibosheth bowed down and said, what is your servant, that you should show regards for a dead dog like me? So he thought because he was lame, why should he show any regards to him? Then the king summoned Saul's servant Ziba and said to him, I have given to your master grandsons all the belonging to Saul and all to his house. And your son, and you and your sons and servants are to work the grounds for him and bring in the harvest, so that your master's grandson may have food to eat. But Mephibosheth, the master grandson, is always to eat at my table. And so I just wanted to to share that story of how a friendship, how a friendship should be mirrored. That was a beautiful biblical example of David and Jonathan, and how Jonathan loved David as his own soul. And that's how Yah is wanting us to treat our friends and our spouses and our neighbors. We are to love as we love ourselves. That's a commandment. Yah is requiring his people to live by his standard of holiness. And so in Matthew 12:50, we know that Yeshua said, those that do the will of Yah are your brother, are your sister, are your mother. So it says, for whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother, my sister, and my mother. And we saw in the definition in the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible, your family is chosen by Yah. You don't select your family. You don't choose your family. Yah choose them. But when you in this faith, you have to measure according to the word. And Yah tells us that whoever does the will of Abba Yah in heaven is your brother, is your sister, is your mother. And we are to cherish, we are to protect, we are to keep, and we are to sharpen, we are to strengthen, we are to encourage. And so we're going to look at another definition of friend according to the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible, and that's 1453. So friend is also to feed, shepherd, desire. Okay, so the pictograph is a picture of a man's head and the picture of an eye. When you combine these, it means man watches. The shepherd watches closely over his flock. Often they are his companions, his friends. And we saw that in the definition in the Q Bible as well as Blue Letter Bible, that friends is a companion as well. Friend, a close companion, neighbor, friend, fellow, brother, husband. Okay? So John 15:15 says, I have called you friends. This is Yeshua talking. I have called you friends. Even Yeshua calls us friends if we follow his commandments. And we're going to read that. Okay. John 15:9-13. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Remain in my love. Love, and according to the Bible, is if you keep my commandments. Those that keep my commandments love me. Okay? It's no other definition. Those who keep my commandments love me. If you, and it says it right here, if you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandment and remained in his love. I have told you these things so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friend. You are my friends if you do what I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not understand what the master is doing. So when you are a servant, you don't understand what the master is doing. But this is what Yeshua says. But I have called you friends because everything I have learned from my Father, I have made known to you. He is the living word. You do not choose me. This is why friends and the families of Yah is chosen. You do not choose me, but I choose you. I have appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will remain, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give you. This is my command to you. Love one another. Y'all want us to not only love him and get in that secret place with him, but he also want us to cherish our brothers and sisters, our friends that in the faith. We are to cherish and protect them like a brother. We are to lay our life down for our brother. We are to rebuke our brother. We are to encourage and strengthen our brother. And that's not going on. When you are not showing love, and remember, love is action. It's not an emotion. It's not a warm fuzzy feeling. It is action. Your deeds and how you treat people. Are you measuring up? Are you there? Is that friend there when you're going through hard times? Is that friend rebuking you when you need to be put in line? Is they sharpening you? Do you have a friend? If you're telling your friend your most intimate things, they're not out spreading it to another friend. We have to love our friends as ourselves, as Jonathan loved David. He said he loved him as his own soul. That was just like powerful. Loving someone as your own soul. He felt knitted to David. And a lot of us, we can't even say that we are a friend to our friends, especially if you spreading their business. You're not helping them when they're in need. You're not holding them accountable when they are in the wrong. You have to measure up according to what scripture says a friend is. It's time for us, the body of Yah, to come to a standard of holiness. The two greatest commandments: love Yah with all our heart, mind, and soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Love thy brother, love thy friend, love thy husband, love thy wife as thyself. When you love your friend and your brother and your sister, you have to measure up with what the word says. Love is not mistreating. Love is not abandoning. Love is not buying gifts. Love is not there when things are going great. Love is not watching your friend get slanged by a sword and not warning. Love is not seeing your friend getting hurt and you not standing up, or hear of something that's going to befall them and you not standing up for them when it's known to you. We have to learn to love our friends and our family and our that's of Yah, like we love our own soul. And if you don't love yourself, it's time to examine your heart to measure up. Are you that friend? Are you that brother? Are you that neighbor? Are you that husband? Are you that wife? Yah is stripping us and he want us to come up. He want us to level up to a standard of holiness. You can miss the kingdom because these are commandments. They are required. You can't love Yah with all your heart, soul, and mind, or say you do, and hate your brother or sister or wife or husband or friend without a cause. Hebrews 10:24. Let us think of ways to motivate one another in order to promote love and good works. We have to learn to encourage one another. We have to learn how to sharpen and strengthen one another. And that's love, keeping Yah's commandments. Keeping Yah's commandment, that's how we show love. That's how we cherish. That's how we protect. That's how we produce good deeds and fruit. You can't strengthen and build up and your friend if you tearing them down, if you mistreating them, if you only there when the times are good, or you praying for them when they in need, but not supplying the need. It is time for the children of Yah to put fire up under yourselves so that you are able to sharpen your friend. If your friend is not sharpening you, not rebuking you when they need to rebuke you, not encouraging you when you need encouraging, not supplying a need when you in need, they're not your friends. And as we've seen in scripture, Yeshua said that if you keep his commandments and you do the will of his Father, then we are his friends. We are his friends. But we are not a friend if we are not keeping his commandments, because he has, whatever the Father has taught him, he has taught us, and it's in his word. You can't say you a friend of Yeshua and you hate your brother, you hate your sister, you hate your wife, you hate your husband. Love is a friend. It was the definition of love, friend. And you are to cherish and to protect them at all costs, even to lay your life down for your brother or your sister, your wife, your mother in the faith. Because those that do the will of Yah are your brothers, are your sister. They are your friend. Okay, sis.
All right. That was a wonderful message. I really like this message. I took it to heart. Thank you for the acknowledgement. I truly
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. I have a few things I wanted to bring out. This was a wonderful message. I really like this message. Some things I want to bring out was the information. I appreciate the information that you provided on iron, what it is, and this essential mineral, its purpose, and how the body uses it and the symptoms of it, because I suffered from it growing up.
Yeah, I did too.
In my early 20s, once I started my menstrual. And then as I got older, it kind of went away. My son suffers from that, so I really was paying attention a lot with that, because that's the reason why he gets tired quickly. Because of that, I won't go any further with that. But the example that you gave on the dull and the sharp knife, I really, really like that example to show how, the condition of the knife, whether it be dull or sharp, how this is a spiritual relationship, how it connects with our walk with one another, and how we build up, and how you said as we strengthen other believers in the faith. So if you're a dull knife, you can't go and sharpen someone else because you don't have the ability to. You don't have what is necessary to build up someone else in the faith. So this is the reason why it's very important. And I like how you connected it and kind of went back and forth between the iron sharpen iron in the spiritual context, and also the physical with the friendships. There's some scriptures I like was Job 6:14, where it says, he who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of Yah. Because we also know, when I did my Yah talk on what about your friends? Remember I did that?
Yes.
That Yah talk, and I gotta get back to doing. I have not done Yah talk in so long. I gotta get back to doing my tidbit teachers on Yah talk. And those of you who have not subscribe to Yah Talks, like you've heard of TED Talks, I have a Yah Talk channel. And maybe I'll put the link there so that, because we have so many new subscribers. And shout out to the new subscribers. This channel is growing. We have had so many recent subscribers. Like we've had like almost 40 something new people that subscribed over the past 2 months. Yeah, so hallelujah, I praise y'all. So I want to welcome all of our new subscribers to the channel who have been fellowshipping, and pray hopefully you've been edified and built up and sharpened from the teachings. But that really stood out to me. Job 6:14, where it says, he who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of Yah. And we know that a friend, as you stated, is a brother. A friend is a brother. Okay. So there's no such thing as being brothers and sisters in the faith and then not being a friend. If you're a brother or if you're a sister in the faith, we are supposed to be friends. And if you withhold kindness from a friend who is a brother, then you are forsaking the fear of Yah. It shows that you do not fear Yah. If you withhold the essentials, the food, clothing, just being kind to one another, how we treat one another. People forget, especially in this Israelite walk, I see so much slander, so much, calling each other out their names. We don't understand that you're making railing accusation. We don't understand that's blasphemy in the scriptures. We did a teaching on what blasphemy is, going around calling people idiots and calling people out their name, even if they are acting that way, that is ungodly. So if you're going around calling people names, even if it's someone who has transgressed you, it says that even the angels didn't even call Satan out his name. They didn't do it. You understand? Even when I did the testimony and I talked about Zechariah, Zechariah, even he when Yahusha, who is the judge, when Satan was standing there to accuse, even Yahusha said, Yah rebuke you. He said, Yah rebuke you. So we can't rebuke one another. We can correct one another.
Absolutely.
But you can't rebuke Satan. But that right there, if you withhold kindness from a friend, you are showing that you have no fear of Yah. And so this goes back to loving your brother as yourself. When you talked about Proverbs 7:17 is I think it's 17:17 where it says a friend loves at all times. So it's not just in good. You brought out so many good points about a friend. It's not just in the good times, but it's in the times when things are not going well. When you spoke about one who finds a faithful friend finds a treasure. And a friend is, as you stated in the definitions, is a gift. It is a gift right now in this day and time. To have a true friend is a gift, because I don't take that. I don't call people my friend loosely. I don't. If I call you a friend, you've earned that title. Now, there's been times when I have called a person a friend only to find out that they were not a friend. I was their friend, but they weren't my friend. Do you understand? And as you stated, a friend, it should be reciprocal. It's not just one person being loyal, one person being faithful, one person showing kindness, one person showing that they cherish you and that they respect you. But it's supposed to be both ways, okay? And it's not a true friendship if a friend is envious of you, if they're jealous of you, if they're coveting, like you said, in your gifts. And this is one reason, and I don't want to make this lesson about me, but just in this faith that I've been in this walk, I had more love from the sisters in Christianity that I did in this walk. This walk there's so many of our women, daughters of Zion, that need to be healed, because there's too much envy, there's too much jealousy. I have gotten it, and you know this, Preina. This has been throughout. Just it doesn't matter if I'm at work. I experience it. I've experienced all throughout my 25 years in education. I've experienced it when I came into this walk. I expect that from the world, but when you come into this walk, when I came into this walk, I was so excited, and then
I was too.
So many sisters in this walk to experience so much envy. In this walk, it has been disheartening. I even did a couple of videos where it's like I have not been able to really find true sisterly love outside, of the few that I have that I can count on one hand. In this walk. But and it wasn't until my Ima just recently told me, she says, because of your light, because they're afraid of you. It's who a lot of times you're dealing with spirits. When people are just don't like you for no reason. Like I've had people, and I'm gonna be real, send me friend requests, and then after they send a friend request, they never like anything, never, I can catch shades from, posts that they put up. And I'm like, okay, like, where's this coming from? And like, what did you even send me a friend request, for? I like to interact with people. And so it's like, I've always felt something that stood out is that acronym that you gave on friend. Oh my goodness. I love that. Friends fight for you. They respect you. They include you. They encourage you. They need you. They deserve you. And they stand by you. One thing I say, remember a friend, when we talk about friends, we're not talking about your buddy or pal, someone you go hang out with, because she already said in the examples, they can, sit at the table with you, but in time of affliction, they like that shade. They like a fake friend. They like that shadow. They there when the sun is out, and soon as the shade come, they're disappeared in the dark. But what you said was something that stood out there is that they include you. I have always felt like that, where people, and this has been with me, even with you and I can tell it. I'm gonna tell it today. Okay, I'm being transparent. Where people will act differently towards you
Yeah.
than they will towards me. You've seen it
Yeah.
yourself, and I'm like, well, where is this coming from? And it could be you, but they're not going to look at you. They will always look at me, and I'm the one that's the target. And I always wonder where that was coming from. I've always not oftentimes felt included in things. Like I said, they will make sure they uplift. And I'm talking about a lot of the sisters today. I'm just being honest. In this walk, so-called daughters of Zion, in this walk, they cliquish,
Yeah.
go, with certain other sisters in the faith, make sure they support and like, and with others. And then when it came to me, no, not gonna do it. And so I noticed a lot. I noticed a lot of that, and that's the reason why I unfriended a lot of them, and that's also the reason why I just kind of separated myself, because I discerned that jealousy. Something you said was also making sure that you're not just someone there when it suits you, but then when it doesn't suit you, you're not there. I'm only a friend, or I act like a brother or sister in the faith when I need something with you. I need something from you. I need you to tell me something. But then when I reach out to you, then you're nowhere to be found. It's reciprocal. It shouldn't be where one person is always calling, one person is always there, and then the other person is not there. And I've just found that it's I that's it makes me truly appreciate you, as a friend, because you have been a faithful friend. And when you said faithful friends are a sturdy shelter, a
Yes.
sturdy shelter is a strong support.
Yes.
Okay, faithful friends, Preina said, is a sturdy shelter. A something that is sturdy, is something that is strong, and that's what resonated in my spirit. As you said, that something that is sturdy is something that is strong, something that cannot be easily torn down, something that remains, something that endures. And I honestly, I'm just so we have so many things in common that I'm just grateful. I know that our friendship is a blessing. I kind of feel like spiritually, I feel like a Nathan and a Jonathan type friendship with you as well. And I love that example. I just love that example of Jonathan and David and Jonathan. And
Yes.
when First Samuel 1:1, when he says Jonathan loved him as his own soul, what immediately rose up in my spirit was love your brother as yourself. That's the second greatest command. David and Jonathan had the kind of friendship, the kind of brotherhood that Yah says you are to. That is the second greatest command. The first is to love Abba Yah with all your heart, soul, and mind and strength. But then the second, Yahusha said to the disciples that the second is like the first, that you love your brother as yourself. So many people think because they teach Torah, they teach well, they got assemblies, they got their hair wrapped, they got on the tassels, they keeping feast days and stuff. They think they're doing all of these things. And they may be building up people through the lesson, but there's so much hatred towards the sisters. There's so much oppression and towards from the brothers towards the sisters. We do not understand that if you can't love your sister as yourself, you don't love Yah. You're not getting, our brothers and sisters do not understand. You're not getting into the kingdom of Yah because you think that you got it on lock with the Yah part and you can love him with all your soul, heart, and mind. And you can keep the Sabbath and keep the feast days and you think you're teaching well, but then you're you're over here abusing your sister, abusing your brother, or husband and wife, abusing one another, or not being a real friend or a real brother or sister in the faith. And that doesn't mean we don't correct one another, because we are required to judge and to correct one another when we are wrong. Because he says if you don't, that's as if you are hating your brother or sister in your heart when you do not correct your brother. If you see sin on your brother or sister and you don't say anything, this is equated with hating your brother or sister because you don't love them enough to tell them the truth. is as if a parent and a child. If I see my child going down the wrong path, loving him is correcting him. It's telling him what he's doing wrong and putting him on the correct path, because it's for the saving of his soul. No one who loves you is gonna, like, we friends. If I look at you and you got some green stuff in between your teeth and you talking, and I'm like, okay, but you got something right there in between. Like, I'm not gonna look and know you got a presentation or you getting ready to take pictures, and I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm like, and then you like, wait a minute, I had this. You was just looking at me. You didn't see anything, but this was one of those. You ever, like, this one of them simple lessons that
that's why I started out simple, because I was like, okay, y'all,
we get so deep that sometimes we forget the simple things. Because y'all has been having me go back, and I've been singing spiritual hymns that we used to sing when we were in the church. And you know how you say, oh how I love JC, how we used to sing that. I just sing that, and I found the instrumental version, and you know what, that just was, y'all put that Ruach put that in my spirit, and I've been just meditating on that hymn all week. And I even had my son, I've been led to show him how to praise Yah.
Okay.
And I took him to some scriptures and Psalms, and I said, Yah wants us to praise him with the harp and the strings. He gave you the gift. My son has the gift. I mean, the Yah gave him the gift to play those strings with like nobody's business. Okay. And he didn't need no training. And his instructors, you know, he did it in middle school, I threw out upper elementary and middle school, and he decided not in high school to not do it. But that boy can play. And this teacher was like, okay, they don't know his name. They say God-given gift. And I said, I know. And it was like, no, I'm serious. This teacher said, and his instructor, he had some phenomenal instructor. It was like, I've never seen anybody. I said, I know. I've been knowing that since he was born, that he had that gift, because he always wanted instruments. And I bought him all the instruments because I knew that Yah was developing those gifts in him. And I've been teaching him this week. I had him sit in with me and sing that hymn, oh how I love Yahusha, and it goes 3 times, oh how I love Yahusha, because he first loved me. I'm teaching him. I'm not getting ready to sing, but when we're here, my private time, I sing. I don't care if I'm off key or not. Right. I've been teaching him how to praise Yah, because I said, you know, he needs to know. I'm telling him, but he doesn't know what that is. So I've been teaching him that, and then just singing some others. So the point I'm trying to make is, it's good to go back to those simple yet impactful lessons. We forget, we so busy trying to be deep that many of us are going to miss the kingdom because we don't, the essential salvational simple things of scripture we are missing over. We're trying to learn who Esau is and worrying about the white man and worrying about everything else, and don't even know how to walk in holiness. I want to talk about the importance of having friends, before I give this over to Preina, who are walking in holiness. It is important to have friends who walk in holiness, because when you have friends who are walking in holiness or striving for holiness, striving to walk upright, there is no greater friend than you can have for that, because as Preina stated all throughout her teaching, that they're going to hold you accountable. Absolutely. They're not going to allow you to fall off track. Why? Because you are running that race together. And if you see them getting tired or slowing down, you're going to say, hey, come on, I'm going to grab you by the arm. We can go arm to arm, but we're going together. You are concerned about each other's souls. You're not concerned about emotional. Friendship is not about emotional feeling. Oh, I love you. No, are you keeping Yah's commandments? Are you staying on track and in alignment with his word? I don't care. And some of you might not like what I'm getting ready to say. Yah doesn't care how long you've been knowing someone. A friend is not somebody that you've been knowing since you were 12 and y'all first, when you was 5 or 6 and your first two fell out together, or you first learned how to ride Yah does not care about that. He's not caring if it's somebody that you've been friends with for a long time and you share, intimate secrets, or you were cool while you were in the world. He doesn't care about long lasting. You may say, well, this was a good friend to me. Is it a worldly friend?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because at this point, they can't go. Yah is severing. He's severing right now. He's not severing just people who you thought was friends, even if they were a friend. If they're still in the world, he said he's calling for you to sever your friendships with them. He's severing marriages, husband from wives, friends, family members, brothers from sisters, mothers against daughters. He said, I come to bring a sword.
Yes, he did.
You're going to be against each other. Why? Because he is separating the wheat from the tares. So anybody who comes to you say, oh, I've been knowing them. They've been a friend for a long time. They've been good to me. They helped me when I was down. What are they doing now? Are they living a life full of fornication? Are they still caught up in sexual immorality? Are they still in the world? Are they still of the world? What's their speech like? He's like you said, evil communication corrupts good behavior. You cannot commune and constantly be around people. If they're a dull knife, you're a sharp knife. They can't come with you. They can't edify and build you up in this walk. We're not talking about somebody, okay, this person was cool to me while we was in the world. I was down and out. They was there for me financially. They've helped me, when me and my boyfriend I was fornicating with, and no, Yah doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
He wants to know, are they walking this walk? There were people who were good worldly friends. I'm keeping it 100 with you today.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were people, and there may be people that you have. I had people who were good worldly friends. I have people that I could think of right now who were good worldly friends, but now we rarely talk because Yah has called for me to sever that relationship. Have they transgressed me personally? No, they hadn't done anything to me, but they are still in the world. We, as you go closer and as Yah is consecrating me, continuing to still refine and purify me, he's calling me to separate myself from people who are still in the world. Remember Abraham.
Yeah.
I always use this example when people say that. And I actually had this talk with my son yesterday. Yah told Abraham, come out from your father's house. Leave your father. His father Terah was an idolater. He was pagan. He said, come out from your father's house. I'm going to establish a new nation. I'm going to make you the father of many nations. I'm going to establish a new nation from you, from your loins. So he was called to separate. There are people that I know that was in this faith that was told to separate from your mother. I'm not gonna say the person's name, but she was told, look, Yah has warned me, separate from your mother because she's pagan. If your mother, father, whoever, they trying to get you to sin against Yah, trying to still get you to keep holidays, all of these different things, you might, if they're going to be a stumbling block to your walk, you might have to separate at some point. I have separated from many people. That doesn't mean you don't love your family. That doesn't mean that they have a need that you're not there for them. But you can't be, I'm not at the family gatherings. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm just not. Yah is calling me up to a higher level, and he's calling us to come out from among them. He meant it. He didn't say come out from among them unless it's your mother and father. He told many of them, come out. When the man was, when Yahushua was calling the people, he said, come follow me. He's like, well, but what about my father? I'm taking care. He was like, let the dead bury the dead. What did he mean by that? He's not concerned about that. He wasn't being cruel and saying don't take care of your parents. But the whole gist of it was there was a delay in this man's heart to do what he told him to do. And he's using that. He doesn't care about your family, friends, blood. Preina said it. Who is your family? Who is your mother? Who is your brother? Who's your sister? What did he say, Preina?
Those that do the will of the Most High.
Those who do the will of Yah. Those who are doing the will of Yah, those are your family now. Because as this thing all wrapped up, your family gonna be trying to turn you in.
Absolutely.
Trust and believe. But this was a beautiful message. I truly enjoyed it. I really, really did enjoy this message, sis. Thank you for this.
And I just kept hearing, iron sharpen iron, just in different little things. I said, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Yes, I loved it. I love that.
But and it just resonate too, because my grandson, he also, he called everybody his friend. I keep telling
girl, my son too.
But my oldest daughter used to do that too. I'm like, everybody is not your friend. And I read Sirach, I was like, wow, they give you a blueprint,
right?
How you should look, what you should look for in a friend. That means a friend, if you looked at the definition of friend, it was husband, wife, brother, sister, neighbor, whatever. It's all one. It's not separate. Didn't say this, and that was a blueprint of how you should look for in a friend, and a measuring tool that you should use, a barometer that you should use to see if this person is your friend. And he said, be on guard even when you have friends. It didn't say you got a friend, now I'm gonna be lax. No, what did he say? Be on guard and stay on guard, But I did. I love this lesson too, sis. And I think we, like you said, we go a little deep too much. Sometimes we can get a little, but Yah requires it. I'm not saying that he doesn't.
It is, but not all the time. I think what we do is, like I say, and you always laugh when I say this, but I learned I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I learned my heritage today, and then boom, tomorrow I'm an elder. How you an elder and you just learned less than 24 hours ago who you are? You need to sit down and learn. You're not ready. We're so quick. Just because you know that we're the chosen people doesn't mean tomorrow you're an elder. You have to learn. And it doesn't mean that maybe that's not what Yah's calling you to do. Maybe he's not called you. A lot of times we have our own we create our own positions.
Yeah.
Instead of letting Yah ordain us, because he ordains us, not man. He ordains and he chooses, just like he chose Aaron with that rod that budded, and Aaron's rod budded. Okay, because he was the one that he chose. So allow Yah to choose you. When I came into this truth 17 years ago, I didn't just, I learned I'm Israel, and then the next day I'm an elder. No, what happened was I sat my butt down for 4 years and studied. That doesn't mean Yah's gonna tell you to do that, but I studied and I learned like Ezra 7:10. Ezra prepared his heart to seek the Torah of Yah, his laws and his statutes, and it said then he practiced them.
Yes.
Then he taught it. So there was a sequence. He prepared his heart to do it, to seek his Torah, to learn it, to understand it, to know it. Then he did it. He practiced it. And then he taught it to Israel. It wasn't, I just learned, he learned today and then boom, tomorrow he teaching. No. we get everybody, and I watched something yesterday. I'm not trying to make fun, but I kind of chuckled. Just somebody using scripture all out of context. This person was teaching on jury, and she was right on the makeup part, but the jury part completely wrong. And that's why I did that teaching on that on the jury. Is it a sin to wear jury? And people use scripture all out of context, and I just kind of chuckled, and I looked at the amount of time, and I'm like, okay, this person just knew. It just came in. I say, see, that's why we have to stop, because you have to give an account for every word. Yes. But this was I really love this. It was simple but straight. It was impactful and right to the point. We need these teachings for reminders of how to carry ourselves before Yah. So hallelujah. Praise
hallelujah. Yes. And he wants us to get back to the 2 greatest commandments. Love Yah with all your heart and love your brother as yourself, your brother and sister as yourself, because those hang all the law.
Yeah, the law and the prophets. Yes. And you're not getting into the kingdom if you think I love Yah but not my brother or my sister.
Absolutely.
Walking in unforgiveness, all of those things, how we treat one another. Yah looks like, he says, when Yahushua was talking before, you could say you're in the prayer. When Yahushua was talking to the disciples and they were like, you know, when you gave to me, when you fed me and clothed me, the disciples like, well, when did we give to you? When did we clothe you? When did we give you water? And he was like, when you've done it to my servants, the least of them, you've done it unto me.
Yeah.
So when you are giving to others who are in need, when you are showing kindness to others, when you are loving your brother as your own soul, protecting and cherishing them, building them up, correcting them in love if it need be, you are doing it to him. It's as if you're clothing him. It's as if you're feeding him, if you're giving him drink, if when he was thirsty. It's the same thing.
Absolutely.
And so that's all I had to say. Beautiful message, sis.
Thank you, sis. Praise be to Yah. And so we're gonna end Shabbat Shalom. And I
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
say, Yah bless you and keep you. Yah shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. Yah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. In Yeshua's name, so be it.
In Yahusha's name, so be it.